Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with my status update on the situation right now that we see vis-a-vis Pakistan. And there was a press conference today. It was at 5:30 p.m. And of course, it had the services represented and it had the Foreign Secretary. Now, what is the main key point out of that press conference? The first and most important news point is that Pakistan has been joined officially, militarily, by Turkey. And Turkey has sent a consignment of drones to launch attacks against India. And therefore, the Turkish government and the Turkish military has entered into a state of war with India. They have exploited a NAS Airlines plane flying from Saudi Arabia as a shield to protect Pakistan from counter strikes by India. But going back to the story about the drone, we are now being told very through confirmed sources that the Turkish Asisguard Songar drones have been used by the Pakistanis. Ladies and gentlemen, these are very specific drones that have been provided to Pakistan by Turkey. And these drones were used, about 300 to 400 drones were used by Pakistan to attempt infiltration at 36 locations. There was an attempted intrusion, and with visuals that I showed you yesterday, when there was interception from the Indian side, was when these Turkish drones were being flown into Indian territory by Pakistan. In fact, we strongly suspect that the handlers of these drones, because the Pakistani army is not technically qualified to use these drones, we are told that the handlers of these drones, ladies and gentlemen, are also Turkish nationals who are operating from Pakistan. So that's a major escalation by Turkey in this war situation vis-a-vis India. And it puts us at odds with Turkey, and many people are beginning to evaluate whether we need to have any business or other connections with Turkey, whether people should go there at a holiday, whether they should support Turkish tourism, but more importantly, whether Turkish companies should be allowed to operate in India. That's the first big news. But the second big news is even more alarming. Ladies and gentlemen, we were informed today that after Pakistan carried out these drone attacks on India, naturally they were anticipating a major Indian military or Air Force response or Navy response, and hence to protect themselves, they decided to open up their airspace, allow civilian planes to fly, and by allowing these civilian planes to fly from different locations, they were hoping for a situation that if India attacked, then a heat-seeking missile from India would perhaps end up going and targeting a civilian plane flying over the Pakistani airspace. What this means is that the Pakistanis were using civilian aircraft as shields to protect themselves against a possible major counter-attack by India. The proof of this, ladies and gentlemen, is in the detail of this one plane, which is an Airbus 320 of Flynas Aviation, which is a Saudi budget carrier, which originated from Dammam at 5:50 p.m. and landed in Lahore at 21:10 hours, that's 10 minutes after 9 in the night. And the Indian Air Force got to know about this. We got to know that there were these civilian aircraft that were flying, and this data was coordinated and it was checked and corroborated through Flight Radar 24. Any of you can also go online and check this. So basically, this has never happened before, that a country and a country's army uses a civilian aircraft as a shield. It could have been a very dangerous situation, because despite anticipating a potential Indian response, Pakistan chose not to close its airspace, endangered civilian lives, and wanted to create a situation where the Indian Air Force could be accused of bringing down a civilian plane. This is how demonic the thoughts of Pakistan are. This is how desperate Pakistan is at the present time.